you. Well, good morning, Many Paths. How's everybody this beautiful sunny morning? Welcome to the Sanctuary, everybody. This is the Sanctuary Band. It's the Sanctuary Band Trio for you. We'll do a few jazz numbers as you have your cocktails. Your spiritual cocktails, which consists of Reverend Deb and Reverend Steph. So on behalf of Reverend Deb, I'm Ryan Gill, Sanctuary Band. Let's all stand up and sing a couple of songs back to back to get our spirits aligned and get ready for a great service today. This is, I'm going to open up with a weather-related song because you know what? It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. And I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. And all of the bad feelings have disappeared. And here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Say that again. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can make it now, the rain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. And I can see all of the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. One more time. Gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. All right. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone Beautiful. Please be seated. All right, all of our kids can go with Miss Steph. Welcome to Mini Path Spiritual Center, everybody. Mini Path Spiritual Center is an affirming interfaith spiritual community. And I like to say that we are an intentional spiritual community and that we decide. Everyone in this room has a say. We are it's nice to see a democracy every now and then, right? Right? When you walk onto this property, you're like, wow, democracy. I forgot what it looked like. Sorry. It just kind of popped into my head there, and spirit moved me, right? Well, I appreciate everybody being here this morning. We are a very active, involved spiritual community. We're here to do three things: to love each other, to support each other, and to help each other, guide each other with great tools along the way. So I know that over my years on my spiritual path, I have learned most of my tools from people around me, from just sitting in conversation, from listening to others. And I thought, wow, that sounds like a great book. Thanks for recommending that. And then that book changed my life. You know, that's how things work. And that's how we work in spiritual community with each other. So happy that you are here. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. So we have some announcements, I do believe. Yes. Hi, Kelly. Kelly's in a good mood because she just finished her first week at a new job. And she loved it.
I rocked it, y'all. Mm-hmm. I really did.
Of course you did.
I really did. It was awesome. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. You know what, Kat? I think that you're supposed to be. Yeah, I think we switched it again. It's okay. Okay.
Figure it out amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm really distracted, but so I just want to take a moment and acknowledge my mom, Kathy, who's no longer with us. So my heart is out there with all the people out there whose moms are no longer here for whatever reason, and for all the moms who are here, happy Mother's Day. So, okay, so our announcement for Sunday, May 10th. We will have our next membership orientation June 7th after the service. If you're looking for a place to call your spiritual home, Mini Paths is a great spiritual community for you to put down roots. The class will last about an hour, and a light lunch will be provided. Please see Ryan Gill or myself, Kelly Slagle, if you have any questions. The Happy Class meets every Tuesday at 6 p.m. This week's class will feature a joyful infusion of gentle yoga, low-impact dance groove, and uplifting relaxation. Cost is $20. Sign up at the bulletin board in the front room to claim your happy spot. Monthly Book Club will be holding their second meeting on Thursday, May 14th from 6 to 7:30. All the information can be found on the bulletin board in the front room or in your weekly happenings email. Mini Pass Astro Chat with Valerie, Friday, May 15th at 6:30 p.m. We'll be exploring Venus, the ruling planet of Taurus, and Libra, and how the Taurus new moon and Venus in Gemini affect you. Come and learn intentional alignment with this movement. Bring your dinner and let's delve into this together. No sign-up needed. Mini Pass Community Meal, Sunday, May 17th after the service. Turn up at our tribes table. Let's bring food, gather at the table, and celebrate life itself. No sign-up needed. If you feel moved to bring a dish, bring what moves your spirit. Gong to Groove, returning to the divine you with Judy Bernard. Sunday, May 17th after the community meal. This special event takes you back into the womb, releasing all the old loops with planetary gongs played by Judy Bernard guiding the way. Then you will be rebirthed into your highest timeline, called to awaken by Ryan Gill, intuitively playing keyboards as we are led to embrace who we truly are while dancing into our rebirth whole and completely divine being. Sign up for this special event in the front room, $35 investment. Sacred Satsang Circle with Reverend Deb, Thursday, May 28th from 7 to 8:30. Discussion, reflection, and support in this special community. Do you play guitar or bass? Do you have experience playing in a band? Do you love the Mini Pass vibe? If so, the Sanctuary Band needs you. The time commitment is 8 to 10 hours per month. If you're interested, talk to Ryan before or after the service. All activity or meeting links and contact numbers can be found in the weekly happenings, Google Calendar, or you can always email the church. Thanks, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let's begin this portion of our service by taking a deep centering breath. Today's centering thought is, my spiritual walk fascinates and fulfills me.
There you go.
Today's centering thought is, our thoughts and emotions are forms of creative spiritual power. You get 2 for 1 today. The more rooted we become in our spiritual practice, the more mindful we are of our thoughts and emotions. And when we are aware that our thoughts and emotions are not contributing to our best life, we can choose to change them. When we experience negativity and pain, whether from the outside world or our inner experience, we can turn to the spiritual tools of forgiveness, gratitude, and kindness. When we follow these principles and remember that we are always connected to the divine, we can change our thoughts and emotions for good. When our thoughts and emotions are not in alignment with who we truly are, our life appears to be out of focus and on the wrong track. But we can always pivot and shift our thoughts and emotions by reconnecting to the divine source within us, by going into the silence, getting still, and listening for that still small voice that is our guiding presence. When we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions, they can be a barometer for the direction that we should take on our spiritual path. As we develop our spiritual tools, we can shift our thoughts and emotions to be more positive, loving, and kind to the communities we serve. Now please repeat these affirming statements after me. I master my emotions by changing my thoughts.
I master my emotions by changing my thoughts.
Every emotion I experience brings me great self-awareness.
Every emotion I experience brings me great self-awareness.
I am free to determine every response to every situation in my life.
I am free to determine every response to every situation in my life.
And so it is.
All right, it's time to sing. Last week we introduced a new congregational song for the month of May. How many of you remember it? I mean, you don't have to remember word for word, but do you remember us doing a new song last week? Okay, we did a new song last week. We remember that we did a new song. So let's all stand up together and re-remember it. And it goes like this. Thank you, Spirit, for the gift of today. Every blessing coming my way. As I feel your gift of grace, I am lifted. Loving you is a wonderful thing. In gratitude, I'm awakening. In gratitude, I'm awakening. Thank you, Spirit, for the gift of today. so much.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to everyone in the room. There is not a single person in this room that hasn't mothered someone, right? Not a single person in this room who hasn't mothered. I know better. Sometimes you've mothered me, Frank. So, a few weeks ago, I happened to mention about a person who was incredibly dear to me growing up, Barb, who was like a second mom and was kind of my heart person, right? And Barb passed last week. I got that message and it hit me pretty hard. And I wanted to let you know that, especially on Mother's Day, it seems fitting to talk about Barb and to invoke her name. And it's kind of interesting that a day before she passed, I was at the doctor's office, and the nurse called me back and said, "We're ready for you, Miss Morgan." I said, "Morgan?" She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Moore." Well, that was Barb's last name. And so she was saying hi. She was saying hi. So at any rate, her memorial is this Saturday in Missouri, and I'll be going to attend that. But the good news is next week we have an incredible special guest. My dear friend, Reverend Rosa, will be offering the word. If you don't know Rosa yet, you have missed out. Rosa's a Unity minister and will bring all kinds of good stuff. And I appreciate your willingness to give me this space to go and celebrate Barb. So, on this Mother's Day, I'm thinking about that Ram Dass quote about how we're all just walking each other home. And we often think about that quote in terms of passing from this earthly life. But I think there are many layers to understanding it. And in spiritual community together, that is ultimately who we are to each other. We're just walking each other home, to the home of spiritual understanding, to the home of awakening, to the home of remembering who we truly are. One with God, in constant communion with the divine. So in this meditative space in our service, if you choose to close your eyes, that's fine. If you choose to not, that's okay. Whatever helps you settle into the reality that is reality with a capital R. That you are sacred. You are precious. Chances are very likely that when you were a little baby, that your mother looked deeply into your face and could not help but smile and held you tight and kissed your forehead and saw you as perfect. The Sacred Mother sees you that way all the time, holds you, nurtures you. That is where home is. Home is resting in the arms of our Sacred Mother. And we are here to remind each other, to walk each other back to home. I invite you for just a moment to just still yourself around that thought. I am home anytime I remember to be. only time I remember to be in the stillness, in the silence. Thank you, Spirit, for the gift of today. Thank you for those around me who help point me toward home when I forget. Help me. Thank you for the understanding, the awareness, the knowing that you as Sacred Mother hold me. You as Sacred Father hold me. You as Source hold me. And I am safe in your arms. Mother, Father, God, thank you. Thank you for the awareness that you are where we find home. And so it is. Everybody has one? Everybody has one, right? Anybody who does not have a purple slip of paper? Susan, the very first person who was here. I know, right? I thought I handed you one. Everybody's got one. All right, right now, do nothing with it. I'll tell you what to do with it. Just want to make sure you've got it. You're prepared. You're ready. Ready, Freddy. All right. Ooh, Lord, it's Mother's Day. Look, the horse has a little foal. I know, right? I think of everything. I think of everything. We're going to change that up. We're finishing up the first quarter. We're finishing up the third moon. And so I'll be changing that up just to, same thing. We get the same theme, harnessing sacred fire this year. Passion, action, and intentional momentum. But I'm getting really tired of this horse, all right? So we're going to switch it up a little bit. So we are in the last quarter of the third moon of the lunar year of the fire horse. The moon is waning at 47% and will be new on Saturday, May 16th, this Saturday, the day of Barb's memorial service. It will be a supermoon, what the scientists call a perigee-syzygy, which I think needs to be a rap song. I don't know. Perigee-syzygy. Meaning that it coincides with the moon's closest approach to Earth. And so a supermoon can appear up to 14% larger because it's in the part of its revolution where it is closest to the Earth. And by the way, we're going to have two full, of course, as a new supermoon, whatever, right? But when it's a full supermoon, it's pretty powerful, and we're going to have two of those in November and December of this year. And in fact, the brightest full supermoon of the year is supposed to be on Christmas Eve. I know, isn't that awesome? Christmas Eve is going to be the brightest supermoon of the year. So there we go. So Eckhart Tolle once said that I've lived with several Zen masters, all of them cats, right? And if you have a little cat baby at home, then you know that they are Zen masters. I am not a mother of a human person, but I am a mother of 3 four-legged, and I've been a mother of many four-leggeds over the years. And so all of my four-leggeds, I've got Buddy, who teaches me all the time. Buddy teaches me to always forgive the person who feeds you, right? Forgive them of anything, groomings, whatever. As long as they give you food, forgive them. Rocky, our little Shih Tzu, teaches me that you should always be available to the person you love, because he's my little Velcro dog, right? And then Oliver, my cat, teaches me you can get anywhere you want to go, no matter what other people want, right? That's what cats usually teach me. So they're all Zen masters. Last week we talked about who we are to each other, and this week we want to take that a step further to consider each other as sources of wisdom, kind of like what Ryan was talking about early on, that we're all resources for each other, and that's why we gather in community. One of the reasons we gather in community is because we have a lot of wisdom in this room. We are all Buddhas and Christs and gurus and saints to each other. We are all rabbis and priests and teachers to each other. There's a very good chance that someone in this room has an answer, or at least a spot-on suggestion for whatever problem or situation you might be facing right now. Like in this room, we probably have really good insight into that. Someone does. We just don't know who, right? At the crux of all matters, of course, the answer is always to center ourselves in divine stillness. Like when nothing else, that's always there for me. When Frank's not around, when Pat's not around to tell me, I'll tell you what to do with it, which is what she said when I gave her the purple piece of paper. I said, I'll tell you what to do with this. She said, I'll tell you what to do with it. That's the kind of place I want to belong to, I got to tell you. But so that stillness, that inner part of us is always there, but there are also times when we can really benefit from some sage advice, right? We need someone else's ideas and input. So many of us start on our journey looking for a guru, looking for a teacher, looking for an outer source that will give us the answers we need, looking for just the right book. Oh, a friend suggested this book. Maybe this has all the answers for me. And then we evolve to the understanding that what we seek is within us. And then so we accept that solitary nature of our spiritual awakening. And then I believe we begin to grow in understanding of how we're supposed to interact with each other, how we treat each other, how we learn from each other. right? And Thich Nhat Hanh said, the next Buddha will be the Sangha, the community, the spiritual group that gathers. And the real quote is, it's kind of a paraphrase of him. What he really said is, the next Buddha may take the form of a community practicing understanding and loving kindness. I love that. We know that phrase, loving kindness, from Buddhism. But last night I was reading on the history of religions, which is what I do for fun. Yeah. And so I was reading about early Jewish rabbis and how they were talking about the fact that the whole Torah was wrapped up in the idea of how you treat each other. And how, in fact, that if you do harm to a person, it is exactly the same as doing harm to God. You kill a person, you've killed God, right? And that was the ultimate, the be-all and end-all of the Torah, and their answer to that was, you must treat everyone with loving kindness. And it was said over and over again. I know it's been translated from original Semitic languages and all that kind of stuff, but the way it got translated was loving kindness. And then we have the Buddha who tells us loving kindness, loving kindness. And I love the way that no matter how many thousands of years pass, you never separate those words. It's not just kindness. Anybody can be kind. But it's kindness that springs from a deep, internal, true sense of love and compassion for that person. I'm not just kind to you because it looks good and it's socially acceptable. I'm kind to you because I have a deep love for you as another being on this planet. I feel connected to you, and I want to show that to you. You know, in Buddhism, the Sangha is one of the 3 refuges. There are 3 refuges in Buddhism. We can take refuge in the Buddha, which means any awakened teacher, right? Any awakened teacher. And so the Buddha is right beside you, right? The Buddha is right next to you, right? And we can take refuge in the Dharma, which is the teachings, the truth that we know, the wisdom that gets passed down, that gets passed along. And we can take refuge in the Sangha, the group. And at any moment, anyone in our community can be all 3 refuges to someone. They can be the Buddha offering an aware and enlightened understanding, sharing the teachings and the truth that they have, and offering to be in community with you in that process, right? That's how we show up. And those refuges, of course, means that we return, to take refuge means that we return again and again and again to these pillars, to find safety from the suffering we find in the world, and to learn how to navigate life with a sense of awareness. So awakening, as we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, awakening is no longer just individual enlightenment, it is relational. It's communal, it's distributed. The sacred does not just show up within us, it shows up between us. Because we can't limit the sacred to just with our being, right? Anybody ever done, like when you're doing meditation, you're like envisioning the field of spirit that is outside your body? You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like the sense of how far away you are. If that's true, then when you and I are close talking, then spirit is right here between us. Spirit is in our relationship. So we do spiritual work just by gathering together. So, trademark pending, I have invented a new game called Many Paths Fortune Cookie. All right? So last week, after the Maypole, Nikki and I went up here to China Cottage. You know where China Cottage is? China Cottage. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And I got this is my new, yeah, I know. I got gotten by an internet ad. All right? So it's my Lockby. Yeah. Yeah, it's worth it. It's good. You should get it. Yeah. So I spent, how much was it? Like $70 to have something to write crap in. All right. So at any rate, I got my fortune cookie. Here it is. And here's what I've discovered lately, by the way. They now have on the back of fortune cookies QR codes that direct you to a gambling site, which is fun. I mean, that's fun. But my fortune said this: your instincts might know something you don't yet. I like that. Your instincts might know something you don't yet. So I saved it, and I put it in my little notebook, my Lockby notebook, and I've been carrying it around for a week looking at it. So here's what happened. A complete stranger, or more likely a computer algorithm, picked this phrase to print on a little snippet of paper with a QR code leading you to a gambling website on the back. And it got shipped who knows how far to end up at China Cottage in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, to be placed on the table, and for me to get, after offering Nikki first choice. That's the way I know it's completely random. I haven't impacted. I make her pick first, and it's like, that one must be meant for me. It came to me with, I did nothing, and it came to me. And so I open it, I stick it in my journal, I carry it around, I look at it, some little slip of paper. I don't know who came up with it. How much more meaningful might a snippet of truth be from someone in spiritual community with you, right? So here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to play Many Paths Fortune Cookie today. You've all gotten a little purple slip of paper, and hopefully you've got access to a pen, right? At some point over the next couple of minutes, not immediately, you're going to get a little time with this. As you think of it, write one piece of advice, one spiritual insight, one deep truth, one otherwise helpful tidbit that comes to your mind. I mean, you could write, remember to fold your laundry as soon as the dryer buzzes. But that's probably not what we're thinking about here. We're thinking about whatever. But I say that to kind of stretch your mind. It doesn't have to be the most profound thing. Whatever comes to your mind. Whatever comes to your mind. How long do you have to come up with it? However long it takes me to get through the next 7 slides. I don't know how long. We'll track it together. So it might be that you come up with it really quickly and you write it down. It might be that over the course of the next few moments, as we talk, that something comes to you and you write it down. But in 7 slides worth, I'm going to expect you to be done with it, all right? And not only that, but here's what I want you to do. This is very important. When you finish, I want you to fold it in half. Some of you have already folded it. That's all right, whatever, I'll forgive you. Fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, so that they're all folded the same way, so that they look the same, like a fortune cookie. We can't tell anything. So they're folded in half again, and then we'll collect them and we'll distribute them, all right? So while you're cooking that up, let me tell you about some other folks here. So there's so much to know in the history of the world that nobody knows everything. And every now and then, I come across something that I had never heard of before. And I'm like, how did I not know this, right? You ever have that happen? Like, how did I not know this? So I've discovered the desert mothers and fathers this week. Wait a minute. Look, I got a whole library over here. The sayings of the desert fathers. So there's a lot to be learned about Christianity and any religion, really, any spiritual path, by looking at the earliest years. So a lot of you know that there was a council called the First Council of Nicaea in the year 325 of the Christian era, right? When Emperor Constantine I, who was the Roman emperor, he was one of the first in the East. He had Constantinople. He moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to Constantinople. And he called together the first ecumenical council of the Christian church. Now notice that the first ecumenical council of the Christian church was called by the emperor. And one of the reasons why he wanted them to come together was that he wanted them to strengthen the unity of Christianity so that it would strengthen the unity of the empire. Right? So this formation was imperial by its very nature, because there were a whole lot of other people wandering around with different ideas about Christianity. Different little groups, the Essenes, the Gnostics, there's all kinds of names for them. People roaming around different monasteries with different ideas. And out this council, a lot of folks think that the Nicene Council was where they picked all the books of the Bible. That really didn't happen there. Voltaire made a comment and people picked up on that, whatever. But it did have an impact on the books of the Bible, because a lot of these little groups all around had their own, like, I've got the Gospel of Mary, that's the one we follow. I've got the Gospel of Matthew, that's the one we follow. I've got the Gospel of Judas, that's the one we follow. The Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Luke, that's the one we follow. And so there was this need to kind of put it all into a sense of unity. And the primary issue at the Council of Nicaea was the divinity of Jesus. Is Jesus divine? Is Jesus God? And it was a big question because there were a lot of Christian groups, most notably in Alexandria. There's a priest named Arius. He actually had a whole following, the Arianism, right? And so Arius, not Arianism, Arianism, believed that the Son was created by the Father, was not eternal, but was created by the Father, sent to earth as this emissary, and then died, and that was it. But God is the eternal one. That's what a lot of folks believed. They were still Christians. They believed the message that Jesus had brought. So the Nicene Creed established the Christian belief that Jesus was divine and eternal. And a part of the Nicene Creed says that he was, quote, true God from true God. So there are all these little different groups roaming around. In Egypt, Syria, Palestine, and Arabia, there were men and women who chose the life of asceticism, the life of voluntary abstinence, self-discipline, renunciation of worldly pleasures. They wanted to achieve spiritual goals. And Egypt was the great center for this. Northern Africa has probably more rich history of early Christianity than any other part of the globe, really, even as rivaling Palestine. So by the year 400, Egypt was a land of hermits and monks. They didn't go in for books a lot. They just went in for solitude. It was a life devoted to silence and private devotion. It was a determination to stay in solitary silence until being completely subsumed by God. And interestingly enough, their desire to find solitude usually brought about the creation of communities of people who wanted to desire solitude, right? So there were these monastic communities that were formed, and their sayings were collected as the Apophthegmata Patrum, or sayings of the fathers, which is a little misleading because there were some desert mothers as well, and so we want to emphasize them, especially on Mother's Day. And from the preface of this version of it, this was translated by a Catholic nun, Benedicta Ward, and in the preface it says, "These were men and women who had reached a humility of which we have no idea, because it is not rooted in a hypocritical or contrived depreciation of self, but in the vision of God and the humbling experience of being so loved." You know that moment? Maybe you've had that moment in meditation, in prayer, where you just start to cry. I've had it. I don't even know why. I'm not thinking anything. I'm deep in meditation. It's that the communion has taken place so purely, and I just start to cry. That is what we mean when we talk about humility, humbling yourself. So people would travel to see a monk. It was an arduous journey, and this is what they would say: "Speak a word, Father." They weren't coming looking for a doctrine. They weren't looking for a set of steps. They weren't looking for a process. Just speak a word. Abba, speak a word. Father, speak a word. And so whatever word it was, because most of the time we don't need a process, do we? I got a problem going on in my life. Nobody needs to give you a 12-step process or a 14-step process or read this whole book. Somebody just needs to say the right thing that makes you go, oh yeah, that's what I needed. That understanding, that realization. People have given me advice over my life, and there are pieces of advice I got in my 20s that were so profound, they probably wouldn't ring as true today, right? So let me introduce you to a few of these folks. Amma Syncletica, Mother Syncletica. And her saying, one of the words she spoke is, "In the beginning there are struggles, but afterward ineffable joy." In the beginning there are struggles. She lived from about 270 to 350. She was from Alexandria, Amma Syncletica of Alexandria. She was born into a wealthy family, a powerful family. After her parents died, she cut all her hair off, gave away her fortune to the poor, and resolved to live openly as an ascetic. And so she went and started, she's considered the mother of the monastic tradition for women. So her parents died, she cut off all her hair, and she went and lived with a bunch of women. You let your mind go wherever you need it to go with that, all right? So, I mean, I'm not saying one way or the other. So it is believed that she cut her hair, by the way, so as not to be wife material, because she was beautiful. And so she didn't want, in those days, if a woman was being pursued, you might not have a lot of choice. So I was like, nope, I'm just not going to have any babies for anybody, all right? I'm going to go off, and I'm going to commune. Isn't that awesome? She's pretty bad, yeah. So I don't think I could come up with a better single sentence describing the spiritual journey for me. First, struggles. First, I have to rethink my identity. First, I have to learn to let go of things that were given to me from birth. First, I have to walk away from something that has felt safe. First, I have to learn how to meditate, and I can't get my mind to shut up. This is hard. This is hard. This is hard, right? First, there are struggles, but then, right? One of these days it catches. In the beginning, I get a little centered in God, and then I forget for a week or a month or 7 years. Doesn't matter. Forget for a while. And that journey feels like work, but afterward, after I finally understand the identity of who I am one with God and one with each other, right? And so then it's ineffable, unspeakable joy. I love that word, ineffable. It's the hardest challenge in my life, is try to come on a Sunday morning and speak to people what is unspeakable, to share what is innately unshareable, right? Yep. Thank you. That's an amen right there. Yep. Abba Poemen. Teach your mouth to say what is in your heart. Woo! Yeah. Poemen, by the way, means shepherd, father shepherd. He lived from 340 to 450. He lived at Cetus in Egypt. Cetus, S-C-E-T-I-S, probably from the word ascetic. Cetus was a big, huge monastery in Egypt, just outside of kind of west of Cairo. And one of the first centers of early Christian monasticism, but then it was overrun by raiders. And Poemen and some others escaped, and they lived in an abandoned pagan temple. And because all the monks had been sent out there was now a diaspora of monks. They were sent out all over the place. It was Poemen and his group who did the early work in creating the Apophthegmata Patrum and gathering the sayings so that there would be a record of what these desert fathers and mothers had said with their wisdom. He was known for his compassion rather than his asceticism. He wasn't just about denial. He was about compassion. And so once he was asked what should be done to monks who fall asleep while they're praying, and he said, when I have seen a brother who is dozing, I put his head on my knees and let him rest. That's what should be done, right? And teaching our mouth to say what is in our hearts sounds simple, but the real challenge lies in discerning what is in our heart. We talked about this a few weeks ago, right? Discerning the desires of the heart. So what this really means is, let me speak what expands me. Let me speak from an awareness of love, from a desire to serve. Let me speak fear only to move it out and come more quickly to freedom. Let me speak to what is sacred trying to live through me. Let me speak from what is in my heart, right? Sometimes when we speak things that aren't very nice, it'd be a question, like we all have that moment, right? You're in the car, nobody around you knows how to drive. They've never, ever learned how to drive correctly in their lives. And you're in the car and suddenly you're, and maybe it's a moment to stop and say, is that what is in my heart right now? Is that my heart right now? Do I want that to be my heart right now? I'm not saying, I'm not passing judgment. I feel you. It's frustrating. But nonetheless, learning what is in our heart, speaking from that, right? Speaking from that. Ama Theodora. Neither asceticism nor vigils save us, but only true humility. She led a monastic community of women in Alexandria, and prior to that, she had fled to the desert disguised as a man. I'm seeing a little theme running around here, but anyway. She fled to the desert disguised as a man, joined a community of monks, and many of the desert fathers would come to her for advice and counsel. So in this quote, she seems to be speaking directly to those whose spiritual devotion leads them to live the monastic life. This monastic life in and of itself isn't going to save you. Denying yourself isn't going to save you. And she essentially says, fast all you want, stay off to yourself, live in solitude and silence, but only true humility will save you. And remember how that was defined earlier, not rooted in a hypocritical or contrived appreciation of self, but in the vision of God and the humbling experience of being so loved. You don't have to be in the desert to feel that. You don't have to deny anything to feel that. So loved, loved from God, loved from each other, love that is so profound it becomes the ultimate humbling experience. It makes me think of another desert teacher, Yeshua of Nazareth. In the Gospel of Philip, which comes from the Nag Hammadi scriptures, some of the ones, and by the way, that divinity, that idea of Jesus being divine, just throw those anywhere, Deb. That idea of Jesus being divine gave the bishops and Rome and the emperor a lot of power to say, you're not in alignment with the way we have unified Christianity, so we're going to execute you, right? We're going to kill you. We're going to send armies after you. We're going to bury your books. We're going to burn your stuff, right? And so Jesus in the Gospel of Philip, these are some of the scriptures, the Nag Hammadi scriptures, some of the scriptures that, you can't burn truth. You cannot burn truth. It will pop back up somewhere. And so the Nag Hammadi scriptures are those scriptures that pop back up. In the Gospel of Philip, a 2nd century Gnostic text, it tells us a little bit about Jesus and love for community, not just for God. And in reference to Mary Magdalene, by the way, got the short shrift on the stuff that was allowed to stay in because she was beloved by Jesus. And in fact, the Gospel of Philip says the Savior loved her more than all the disciples. In many of these scriptures, we find when they mention the disciples, it talks about the men and women following Jesus. It wasn't just 12 dudes, right? It wasn't just a football team. It was men and women who loved the message of Jesus, following him. Yeshua loved the people in his life. John was known as the beloved. Peter was his rock. Judas was his closest friend. But Mary Magdalene is different, and not just in a romantic way, though that could be, because this scripture goes on to say that he used to kiss her often on the mouth. Some of the disciples, especially Peter, got really jealous and wanted to know why Yeshua preferred her over him. That's false love, right? False love says, I'm jealous. Your love has a limit, and if you give it all to her, you won't be able to give any to me, right? And in this and in other Gnostic Gospels, including the Gospel of Mary, we see indications that Mary may have been given deeper spiritual insights from Yeshua because, as it is described, she saw the light. I like to think of Mary as one who, in very quiet moments between the two of them, would have been the one who took Jesus by the shoulders and said, remember who you are. Because I think Jesus might have needed to be reminded of that too. Beloved, remember who you are. We see enough of Jesus' struggles that we can readily accept his humanness that would benefit from a companion who truly sees him. And it's not just Christianity that demonstrates the spiritual resource of leaning on those who can speak a word to us. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna and Krishna, I brought it just to hold it up, to let you know that I really do read these things. No, I'm kidding. This is the best one, Stephen Mitchell. If you're ever looking for a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, I highly recommend the Stephen Mitchell translation. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna turns to Krishna, a god, yes, but also his friend, and asks for guidance in understanding his duty in the midst of war. The entire text is Krishna instructing his friend, and it is one of the most valued scriptural guides in my life. And he says to him, he who is rooted in oneness realizes that I am in every being. The divine is in every being. You can't see anything but divinity in those around you. And in the process of that conversation, Arjuna is able to see the world through spiritual eyes, and he is able to understand his duty on a level he didn't know before. And he's able to do what is his to do. Buddha and Ananda. This is the 7th slide, by the way, if you haven't written anything down. All right? This is the 7th slide. Ananda was a close friend of Buddha's, followed him throughout his life, was one of his closest disciples. And there's a story where Ananda says to Buddha, I'm beginning to see that spiritual friendship is half the holy life. And Buddha responds and says, oh, no, Ananda, spiritual friendship is the entire path. It is the entire path. We learn everything from our interactions with each other. That's a little surprising even for those of us who are ready to receive that answer. The entire path, really? And I think maybe Buddha is saying that the enlightenment, which he himself reached in solitude, is not complete until we have experienced it in communion with each other. It remains incomplete. It is both the journey and the destination. Have you written it? Have you folded it twice? All right, Jackie and Jackson. Jackie, you take this half. Jackson, you take that half. I want you to just randomly put it into their little bucket there. All right, Jackie, you're on this half. You go on that half. Jackson, yeah. Everybody just put your little thing in the bucket. There's no money in there. Just make sure you get it in a bucket. Is everybody's in there? Everybody got one in there? You can take some of those. There you go, Jackson. Yeah, okay. Now what I want to have happen is, Jackie, you stay on this side. Jackson, you go on that side. Now go around. Start over on this side. Everybody just randomly grab one. Start over here, Jackie. Oh, you got to get one? Oh, you can do whatever you want. I'm sorry. Let me just... I'm going to stay over here. Everybody just randomly grab one. I put them on different sides, so better odds of you not getting this. I know, right? I thought this out, people. I'm boxing it up. You can read it. You can read it if you get it back. Read it. See what you got.
I didn't look at it.
All right. Yeah. I know you. I know that story. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can read it. And you know what? Maybe it doesn't mean anything to you right now. Maybe it means something. You get rid of all of them? We got them on? Everybody who put one in got one back? Okay. Everyone who put one in got one back, right? Okay. All right. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe you're like, well, whatever, crapshoot. Does it have a QR code for a gambling site on the back? That's all I care about. There's some value at least. But it might have something, or it might have something that means something to you later on, or it might be something that you put in your lockbook journal and you carry with you for the next 20 years. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. But it might come in handy for you because this is how we show up for each other. We can do it anonymously. We can do it face to face. What we actually do for each other, we regulate each other. How many of you have heard anything recently about regulating your nervous system? It's a big thing. It's a big thing out there in all the meditation apps and everything. Regulate your nervous system. Right? Listen to this sound. It will regulate your nervous system. We do that for each other because connection reduces stress. We bring presence and safety and openness and awakening to each other. We mirror truth to each other because others reflect when we're asleep. Have you ever been asleep and didn't know it? In your spiritual life, not in real life. That's a whole different thing. In your spiritual life, like you're asleep and you don't really know it. You're just wandering around. You're doing whatever the universe is bringing to you. Like, oh, here's a party. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do that. And then someone looks at you and says, where are you right now? What's with you right now? Oh, thank you for that mirror. Right? Reflecting to each other, reminding us who we are. We're carrying each other. When one of us forgets, there's somebody here to remind you. This is the safest place to walk into and say, you know what? I just feel like I've forgotten who I am this week. Boom.
You're going to be swarmed. Let me just tell you that. You're going to go, no, Don, I don't want to scare you. But there's going to be plenty of people who say, I can remind you of who you are. I can tell you who you are. I see you. I see you. When one is lost, another holds the light. We interrupt illusion. The community gently challenges our ego narratives. Ego narratives. Because awakening is not always comfortable, and we need someone who will gently challenge us. We need a safe place. Do you remember those things? I had a friend who was a mother years ago, and she used to, like, when she would discipline her son, her 13-year-old son, Crystal, we were talking about that this morning, how friends I've known, if you're the mother of a boy, I'm sorry, you're probably going to disagree with me, but my friend used to say, little boys are the best children a mother could have until they hit 13, and then you ought to be able to return them, right? Because sullenness comes in. They get this little sullenness thing going on. They're too cool for school, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's so much fun, isn't it? Why was I saying that? Oh, 13. Yeah. I don't know why I was saying that. Awakening is... I have no idea why I was saying that. That's fine. It's okay. It happens. So in the desert, people would travel for days to receive one sentence of wisdom, and today we don't have to travel. We just have to turn to each other. Right? We just have to turn to each other. Sangha is not where we go. It's what we become for each other. So one last thought I want to leave you with here. Who we are to each other, since the Buddha may be the next community. We teach each other. We learn from each other. We are the present Buddha, the available Christ, the living Guru. We are the awakening Sangha. Not someday, not somewhere else, but right here in the midst of people devoted to loving kindness. Namaste.
Whoever gave this to me, thank you so much. I'm getting ready to go to lunch with my mom, and this is very special for that. You're going to make my mom cry. In a good way. We sang last week. Let's do a chorus of something else. I release, now let go. Like a musical way of taking a breath. So thanks everybody. Appreciate you being here with us today. I know you guys have got Mother's Day things to do. On that note, our kids are going to come in and they're going to get these beautiful carnations and hand them out to all the ladies in the bunch today. Thank you so much for all the mothering that you do for me. Kelly and I were standing out back a few weeks ago. We were talking about how incredible our mothers are here. How all of you give us that sense of being mothered, and we appreciate you so much. So we've got a carnation for you. Come on in. Come on in. All right, to remind everybody to check your what's happening. Remember the stuff that we've got going on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And let's all stand up and say our new closing prayer today together. And I will lead it. Together, may the sun bring us new energy by day, and the moon softly restore us by night. May the rain wash away our every worry, and may the breeze blow new strength into our being. May we walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of our lives. And so it is. Thank you so much, everybody.